It's now a few days since Pakistan had a new prime minister, Mr. Imran Khan, who used to be the captain of Pakistan's cricket team. And people joke that being the captain of Pakistan's cricket team is the hardest job in Pakistan. And the second hardest job is being the prime minister of Pakistan. I'm not so sure that's true anymore. I would think that being the prime minister of Pakistan is probably harder than being the captain of the cricket team of Pakistan. To talk about this and other topics, I would now like to welcome Professor Nalapat to our channel. Professor Nalapat, welcome to PGurus.
Thank you.
Mr. Sidhu was invited and he accepted the invitation and went to Lahore. And there is some video that you see, it's very odd. Imran Khan wasn't making eye contact with Sidhu. It made for very poor viewing on TV. Maybe it was just selectively edited out. I don't know the truth. But be that as it may be, a couple of other cricketers wisely stayed away. Professor Nalapat, Imran Khan is, according to you, and I think according to many people, I should say, it's not just you, he was selected by the army of Pakistan to be the prime minister. For how long and for what purpose?
Well, the purpose, he was selected about 2 years ago, and from that time, from about 2015 onwards, it's very, very clear the army was grooming him. And actually, from that time onwards, all the significant actors in Pakistan and most of the international players were aware that he was going to come. It's a matter of time before Nawaz Sharif would be removed through the judicial knife, which is what happened. I mean, whether the Pakistan or the Maldives, when you have a Wahhabi force, in the case of Pakistan, the army in charge, there is no room for any independent institution, very frankly. When you have any kind of an extremist force, there is no room for any kind of independent civil institution. And the courts in Pakistan did what they were expected to do, finish off Nawaz Sharif and bring in and facilitate the entry of Imran Khan as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So his job is basically to lull the United States and India, especially, into a false sense of progress and security. To basically lull the United States into accepting that the Taliban will become part of the Ashraf Ghani government. In other words, you introduce a cancer into the government, and that cancer will soon spread and destroy the host, which is the Ashraf Ghani government. And I think the Americans are so desperate to get out of Afghanistan that they might even fall for this poison chalice and thereby make the situation in Afghanistan what it was before 9/11 and thereby prepare the ground for another 9/11, I'm sorry to say, in the United States.
I have a question for you, Professor Nalapat. I think just after Nirmala Sitharaman became the Minister of Defense, NSA, I think, McMasters came visiting to India and he requested help from India in Afghanistan. And Nirmala Sitharaman could have demurred and said that, yes, we will look into it. But she flat out said that India does not want to be involved in Afghanistan. Wasn't that an opportunity that India should have grabbed with both hands?
Look, Sri, in 2003, I argued that India should send a division into Iraq. That division would have been based in the Kurdish region. It would have given us tremendous leverage in a very high oil region. Our oil companies, our energy needs would have been significantly benefited by that, and our geopolitical presence would all have gone up. Mr. Vajpayee had cold feet, and as you know, I mean, he told the leftist parties and others to oppose the move, and then when they opposed it, he said, look, to his own government, sorry, these parties are opposing, I can't do it. We lost that chance. Now this, in my view...
I'm sorry, this is something that's very amazing that I never knew this before. But weren't there people like Jaswant Singh who had a lot of spine? What were they thinking? Why did they not want to interfere there? This would have taken care of all the oil needs for India.
Look, Sri, don't explain to me, don't expect me to explain the policy decisions taken by successive governments in India. I can't. I mean, they're so irrational. They're so damaging to the long-term interests of the country, it's very difficult to explain it. Now, here, very definitely, India should get involved in Afghanistan in training the Afghan military and the Afghan police. There's no question about it. We need a kind of presence for training. But it's got to be an Afghan solution, but we should definitely be involved. And I would like to say, by publicly snubbing the offer by the NSA of the United States, it may have been a factor in the NSC, the National Security Council of the United States, basically coming to the conclusion they can't rely on India. So they have to fall back on Pakistan, because you can't rely on India. What's the other option? It's Pakistan. So yes, I agree with you. I think that flat no was a tactical mistake. It was a strategic error.
Was she doing it on her own, or was this done as a part of a cabinet approval? It beggars belief.
Well, I'd like to say that Nirmala Sitharaman is a very disciplined minister. She's a very disciplined individual, and I don't believe she will go off base on any issue. I believe she will exactly follow the line that has been set for her by the higher authorities, in this case the cabinet, the prime minister, and she will also listen very carefully to the officials who are here. She's a very, very careful individual, quite frankly. So I don't believe this is an off-the-cuff rejection. No way.
Because why I keep coming back to this point is, this was something that was being given gift wrap to India. You work with the United States. They're also now an oil exporting nation. The upcoming Iran crisis would have just blown over. India wouldn't have had to work. So every so often, like 2003, like you mentioned, and now in 2017, we keep getting these offers where all we have to do is say yes. I mean, somebody is like peeling the banana and asking you just bite, and India says no, I don't want to bite. I mean, what is going on? What are you thinking? Why are you making life more complicated?
I have argued publicly that India should sign those 3 defense agreements with the United States with suitable modifications which are India specific, which I'm sure the United States would agree to. They did that in the case of the LSA, Logistics Security Agreement, which has now become LIMOA, where India is concerned. I'm sure they would do that with the communications and the geospatial agreements. I'm really surprised that in the 5th year of the Modi government, all 3 agreements have not been signed. Only 1 has been signed. And even that, frankly, is not fully operational. I'm really surprised. I mean, I really don't understand why. Now, in my view, and I'm saying this very clearly, I've never liked the F-16, frankly. But when you get an offer of an entire production line for the F-16 being transferred to India, it can become the beginning of a huge, if I may say so, defense production behemoth, because F-16 will be followed by more advanced jets, and you will have built in the facilities in place to build those jets. About the F-16s, you produce 500, sell 300 to other countries, they'll definitely buy them, and that 300 which you sell will more than pay the cost of the 200 that can be inducted to the Indian Air Force. So why the government is hesitating about this, I don't know. All I can point out, arms dealers and arms lobbies are very strong in India. And countries that are making a lot of money selling arms in India, countries that are giving politicians a lot of money selling arms in India, do not want the Americans in the front door. In my view, India and the United States should have a very strong security relationship. India and China should have a very strong commercial and economic relationship. These are the 2 legs that India must work on. Unfortunately, both legs are weak, mainly because of hesitation on the Indian side.
The F-16 thing, it just blows my mind, because if you was going to start manufacturing something as complicated as the F-16 aircraft, it's going to spawn so many smaller industries around it. The technology is going to rise. It's going to create so many new jobs, all high-paying jobs. All of these will also lead on to support and other logistical jobs that India excels in, as a matter of fact. I mean, I know people go to the North Pole and you'll see an Indian there taking care of some of the equipment and so on and so forth. He'll be the database administrator, for example. I mean, this is something that is India loves to do. And again, I don't understand why these things are not being decided in a timely manner.
Well, I'd like to just add here now, there are 2 superpowers in the world today, China and the United States. I mean, that's a reality. Now, for example, the Kunming to Calcutta highway, if that highway is agreed upon and built, I frankly am in favor of a highway from China to Sri Lanka through India. And if that happens, the red corridor will be transformed into a road corridor. So China will ensure that the Maoist threat that we are facing through the red corridor will be completely eliminated through development. So I frankly don't see any reason why we cannot accept this kind of mega project from China. I don't see any reason why we can't accept this mega project from the United States. Frankly, we are hesitating to go even the extra inch, forget the extra mile, in both these relationships. And as a consequence, in my view, we are missing a historic strategic opportunity. This is a sweet spot for India. Everybody is ready to do good deals with India, but you have to seize the day, seize the opportunity. And if you're looking only at the individual interests of some people or looking at the individual interests of some countries with some companies, it's not going to work. You have to have an India-wide view of the thing. I certainly hope that Prime Minister Modi, in the 6 or 7 months that he's got left, will sanction these mega projects.
And carpe diem is what Professor Nalapat is saying. Seize the day. I would, definitely want and encourage, Prime Minister Modi to have daily pressers like the way it happens in the United States, because there is so much information that needs to be disseminated to the public. What are you doing here? What are you doing there? Why is this shroud of silence? Because it only breeds more suspicion. Even if you are working something in the background, even if you are sincere about making sure that democracy will be restored in Maldives, why not come out and say it? Why don't you start thinking and sharing your thoughts? So Man Ki Baat is a one-way traffic. I'm done with it. I want to have, listen and talk. So I hope that this, at least the fact that Prime Minister Modi could be running the risk of losing the 2019 elections would spur him to be more transparent, more proactive, and more reactive. Thank you very much, Professor Nalapat.
Thank you. Thank you, Sri.